All right, how's it going, everyone? So this is our Trophic Cascades presentation, and our group chose the Sea Otter and Kelp Forest Cascade example. And this was made by Jordan, Caitlin, myself, Zainab, and Haley. So first we can look at a map of sort of where sea otters are located and how the ecosystem is affected with them and without them. So they live in a marine ecosystem located between Alaska and Russia, and just a series of little islands there you can see. And the environment's a very cold ocean environment. And so you can see on the map there, the circles halfway filled with red and the squares with that filled with red in the X are areas where the kelp density is shown without sea otters, and the biomass without sea otters is shown, which we'll get into that later, but that's bad for the ecosystem. And then the green boxes and circles show where the kelp density and biomass is in a good amount. So then this is just a general overview of the trophic levels of that system. And so the producers are the plants, which are the kelp. The primary consumer are the sea urchins that consume the kelp, and then the secondary consumer, or the predators, are the sea otters. And so energy just flows up the pyramid each level. And then here's some pictures of the kelp, sea urchin, and the sea otter. So how this cascade happened? So it happened because a decrease in the sea otter population resulted in an increase in sea urchin population because there weren't enough otters to eat the sea urchins. And the overpopulation of sea urchins negatively impacted kelp population. And so then decreased kelp populations affected the other species in the ecosystem. So that kind of threw the whole ecosystem off and unbalanced it. So how did the sea otter population decrease so much? So first off, they have these fur coats to protect them from the harsh, cold environment of living where they do. But this coat has also caused them to become like a valuable hunting commodity for like fur traders. And so in the 19th century, the sea otters were actually almost hunted to extinction. But then the Treaty for Preservation and Protection of Fur Seals was put into place in 1911 to protect them against overhunting. And this was signed by the US, Japan, Germany, and Russia. And basically what it did is it imposed a ban on hunting and harvesting of sea otters in an attempt to help the population sort of regrow and get back to what it was before the overhunting happened. And then also sea otters are protected by two other acts, the Endangered Species Act and Marine Mammal Protection Act. And as you can see here, like two simple pictures kind of showing the ecosystem with and without sea otters. And the one on the left, obviously you can see that there's a ton of kelp, not really many sea urchins. And then without the otters, there's much less kelp, and then you can see all the sea urchins. So we kind of covered this a little bit, but why sea otters are important. And they basically help maintain healthy kelp populations in coastal areas of Alaska. And these healthy kelp populations allow for a large diversity of species in the ecosystem. And then also the kelp is pretty vital in the carbon cycle, and it absorbs CO2 from the environment and releases oxygen, breathable oxygen. And here's just kind of a picture of the food web, kind of displaying different trophic systems when you look at it. So you can see like the predatory fishes, and pretty much everything starts with the kelp and leads up toward the main predator, which is the sea otter. And so some scientific support for this cascade. So there's some current research supporting this, and scientists are currently studying how to improve this problem without causing further disruption in the ecosystem. And the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services are working to control overhunting of the sea otter population because it's still kind of an issue. And then here are the works cited. So hope you guys enjoyed the presentation.